You're listening to Be Happy. Be inspired by great interviews, great music, and news of inspirational events.
Well, it's a wet morning in York, but we're sat in a wonderful building here, and I'm sat with Neil Owens from Podfit. How are you, Neil?
Very well, thank you, Steve. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about mindset for change, I guess. So what's all this about?
Well, it's really about one of the most difficult aspects of our clients at Podfit when they come to us is that they want to make some changes to their lives and they want to improve their health and fitness. So they might want to change their shape or manage their weight, improve their posture. And it's fine for them to come to us to the studio and exercise, and we'll build pillar strength, we'll work on hip, shoulder and core stability, and we'll give them a food plan that fits in with their goals, but really applying the mindset to be able to operate to achieve their goals outside of the gym environment on a daily basis. It's the most difficult thing because people are trying to make changes and generally people are really, they get in their comfort zones, and we don't like change. And what we try and do to our clients is we try and give them a mindset approach where they're uncomfortable or they're comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right, okay.
Because you don't change at the end of your comfort zone.
No, they always say amazing things only happen when you step outside that comfort zone.
Absolutely, yeah. So really the mindset approach is a philosophy that we've developed and that we deliver on a daily basis to clients in a number of ways.
Then is this a bit about doing things on a consistent basis as well, Neil?
Absolutely. So habit formation and habit strategy is all based around a habit loop. And that habit loop needs to be consistent. So what we say is aim for 6 days out of 7. So building some consistency with whatever habits you're trying to change. You don't need perfection. There's not really any fun in that. But what we are looking for is consistent change over a period of time. And that really for us is, aiming for 6 days out of 7.
Okay. So Neil, talk me through your model then.
Okay. So really, our mindset model is based upon foundation, bricks and a roof. And the foundation stage for whatever a goal is always the same. So we'll talk about that first. And really, a lot of the things about why you might fail is all based in your foundations. So for example, the first aspect of our foundation is clients need to think about going all in. And so many times a project, a health-related project, and lots of other projects will fail. Let's have an example of losing weight. So you want to lose weight, but the problem really relates to the fact that you don't really go all in. You always give yourself an out. So New Year's resolution, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to start a diet. Oh, but hang on a minute, I've not really got the right food in, so I'm going to eat these foods first, and then I'll buy some healthy food. And before you know it, you've done a week, and then you feel demotivated, so you fail before you started. Or you say, right, I'm not going to drink for a month. Oh, but next weekend I'm going out with Sally. I've not seen Sally for about 6 months, so I'm going to have a drink then. And you give yourself an out. So straight at the start of a project where you say, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel fit, I want to be healthy, we give ourselves out and you don't go all in. And the philosophy at Podfit, it needs to be that, you need to understand what going all in means. So if your goal is to lose weight, we often see, Sally's lost weight or Bill's lost weight. Sally's lost 10 pounds in 6 weeks and Bill's lost 14 pounds in 6 weeks. And our clients will say to us, I want a piece of that. I want to lose that weight. And what they don't see is that, Sally and Bill have gone all in and they've not gone out and had a drink, or they've gone out and they've not had the pudding, and they've made changes and sacrifices on a daily basis because they've gone all in. And you need to not just see the end product, you need to see the process. And if you don't go all in on the process, the chances are you're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
So that's the first bit about the foundation.
It's a bit like thinking somebody's an overnight success, isn't it? They don't see the work that's gone on before.
But this is the way that society works.
Yeah.
If you look at things like what's on now, if you look at X Factor, you're an overnight success. You go on a program one day and all of a sudden you're a pop star, and everyone goes, well, I want a bit of that. But a lot of the time you don't see the work and the effort that's gone into making that. They sing every day. They tirelessly work on being the best version of themselves, and we just see the end product. Oh, that person's a pop star. All they did was go on X Factor.
God, yeah.
And it's really about understanding that change and being the best version of yourself. It comes from within. We'll give you the tools, But make no mistake about it, you're going to do the hard work, and change always comes from within. So we have to get people to see that first and foremost. So that's the first foundation.
Okay. So what's the next?
Well, a lot of the people, once they understand the foundation, will then say, well, actually, I'm eating pretty healthy. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. And we'll have a lot of people that we have to then teach them, what a healthy diet looks like. So it might well be that, a person says, well, I'm eating healthy. And I'll say to that person, right, okay, what have you had for breakfast? Well, I've had porridge for breakfast, and I had it with maybe some bananas and a cup of tea. And they're all healthy foods. Yes, they are. I agree. And then what have you had for lunch? Well, I might have had a sandwich and then maybe an apple, a bit more fruit. Again, we're told that these are really healthy foods. The food pyramid says eat lots of these carbohydrates. And then for dinner, I said, what do you have for dinner? I said, I had salmon and fresh new potatoes with broccoli, and then I had a yogurt. Now, that sounds like a really healthy diet. And on the outs, if you don't pick the bones out of that diet and you don't understand nutrition entirely, you can say, yeah, that's healthy living. And it is. But that diet won't necessarily help somebody in their 40s who's not very active lose weight. For the simple reason that in all of those, in every meal, that person's eating carbohydrates, which relates to sugar, which produces insulin, which halts fat loss. Now, if you're not very active and you're not done a lot of exercise, your body's going to produce a lot of insulin, and it's going to take a while before it leaves the bloodstream. So you eat your porridge on a morning, body produces insulin, you can't burn fat. It takes all morning, then you eat some bread at lunch, more insulin's produced, you can't burn fat. Potatoes at night, and although you're eating healthily, your body is not able to burn fat because of the amount of insulin it's producing. Okay. So there's an education involved with our foundation that says we need to teach you about what's going to work, and we need to teach you some rules.
Okay. So Neil, what does work then, very briefly?
If you want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Well, real food. No, we've got 8 mantras actually. So one of the things is to limit your sugars and time your sugars around either exercise or have them one time a day. So if you're going to have porridge at breakfast, you might want to be having a salad without the bread at lunchtime, and you might want to be having that evening meal without the potatoes. And you can have lots of other things. You can go mad on your vegetables and your healthy fats. So chicken, avocado. You can have things like courgette spaghetti. There's loads of alternative products other than having a potato-based meal.
Right. Okay.
And that will enable the body to burn fat because it'll produce far less insulin. So that's one of the things that can work. But it's not a one-size-fits-all, and it may well be that certain clients have to think about the basics of fat loss, which is calories in, calories out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you scribbled down here, decision fatigue. What's that?
One of the most fundamental failings in people in when they're trying to achieve goals that are health-related, including fat loss, is decision fatigue. And I'm going to talk to you about a study that was done. There was a High Court judge, and they did over 1,100 cases, and the High Court judge was assessing parole hearings and whether prison inmates should be granted parole. Now, they did over 1,100 cases, as I said, and the significant most important factor as to whether these prison inmates were granted parole was the time of the day. So, yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. So the time of the day. So in the morning, the judge had slept well, he'd had his breakfast, he was feeling energised, he's able to focus on proper decision making and give each case a really good argument for whether they should be granted parole or not. But as the day went on, he got tired, he got a bit more edgy, unable to make the right decision. So rather than making the right decision, he made a quick decision. And morally, the quick decision had to be you're staying in prison. Right, he'd have some lunch, and then he'd feel more energised, he can make a better informed decision, but by the end of the day, your chances of getting parole would drop to 0.
Wow.
So what that equates to in the real world for us is, well, first and foremost, if you're in prison, you want to have your court hearing at the start of the day.
I was just thinking that. Should it ever occur to me?
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't occur to anybody. But what it means is that at the start of the day, you've got a ton of different decisions that you're going to have to make. And as those decisions get made later on in the day, this is why people will eat emotionally at night, is that they've had a bucket full of decisions at work, and they've had loads of decisions with kids or family, and they just get to a point where they just can't rationalise a decision about their food, and they'll just put with convenience eaters, so they'll put the first thing in their mouth or the most comforting thing in their mouth. So there are lots of things that you can do to avoid decision fatigue. The first one, for example, is to plan some things in the night before. So instead of making decisions, you schedule. So you can schedule what you're going to wear for your week. You can schedule what you're going to eat. Stick a food plan on your fridge. Take out those minimalistic decisions that are going to add up. So you know you've got a food plan, you stick to it. Right, omelette for breakfast this morning. Boom. Right, I'm wearing this for work. And then scheduling in things like exercise. Exercise is an absolute murder for decision fatigue, and that you say you want to get healthy. I'm going to go to the gym tonight after work. And you have a hell of a day at work, and then you've got a decision in your head where you're giving yourself an out. You haven't gone all in. You haven't scheduled it in early. And you say, am I going to go? Am I not going to go? And you will procrastinate for like an hour about whether you're going to go to the gym or not. And that decision fatigue has a massive knock-on effect for you at the end of the day. So, getting up early, making schedules, limiting, taking out any decisions that aren't super important. So the things that are important in the day that you have to make daily decisions about don't ruin your end of day. And that's another big thing that we try and instill into our clients.
I'm feeling reassured actually, because I've got a food plan for the week already. It's done.
Brilliant.
My yesterday's is in the chiller tonight for tonight.
Absolutely. Leftovers. A lot of our food plans are really sensible about that, in that we'll have an evening meal that can be utilised for leftovers the next day. We've got to live in the real world. We want to save people time and money and still get them eating well.
Yeah. Neil, what about things like juicing and things like that then? What's your view on that?
Well, they've got a place, but they've got a place in the fact that, if you're short on time and you want to just get some nutrients into your body, that, you can juice. But you can't just juice.
No. Okay, no.
You need to have real food, and if you just juice, you're going to be pretty much starving yourself of some fundamental nutrients. So it's, we personally don't ask people to juice. We'll maybe ask, the odd smoothie for breakfast, but a smoothie would have, pretty much, you still have some protein in it, some good fats, and definitely some fruits. But it's difficult to make an argument for me as a fitness professional to say if you juice, you're going to hit your fitness goals. You may lose some weight in the short term, but as a sustainable, lifelong way of life. I think there was a program last night on about fruitarians, about people.
Was there?
Yeah,
right, okay.
People who just basically eat fruit the whole time.
Right.
And no, really, our philosophy is to eat real food. Real food's only got one ingredient. Prepare fresh. And get good balance.
Okay. I'm smiling because it's only about a fortnight ago I did a 3-day detox.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I did a 3-day detox, and I made the big mistake of I went out and did like a 45-mile bike ride while I was detoxing.
How was your energy levels?
It was not good.
I've done the 3-day detox, and my wife's done an 8-day detox, and I think she made about 4 or 5 days of it. We did it, as a fact finding to say, rather than me just saying don't juice and this is why, we did it ourselves to find out, the sort of the knock-on effects. And bottom line is, if you're detoxing and you're just juicing, or if you're just having vegetables for one day, or you're going to be starved of nutrients, but you're going to be primarily starved of energy.
Yeah,
so
and
don't do too much.
Don't I know it? And I couldn't wait to actually eat some solid food on the Tuesday. Okay, so Neil, some really interesting stuff there about just what you do and how you help people. How can people find out more about you and what you do?
So just Google Podfit or Google Personal Training in York, Podfit, and have a look at the website. It's a new website up actually.
Okay.
So it's pretty much got all the information about us and about where we came from. And how the studio was founded. I was a PE teacher, and I needed to develop a strong core, and I had some spinal surgery and some spinal problems. I've got a twisted spine, which is a long story, so I won't go into that. But essentially I was told I needed to develop a strong core. So the studio philosophy has evolved a little bit, but it's based around core strength. It's actually now based around pillar strength, hip, shoulder and core stability, because we know it's a really efficient way of building a strong, lean body with reduced injury and illness. And that's not our philosophy. This is a philosophy adopted by people like Athletes Performance, Core Performance, top global training industries that we've adapted for general populations.
Brilliant. Okay, so just give us that website again.
www.podfit.co.uk.
Neil, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Steve.
Be Happy, Be Inspired is a weekly podcast. For more information about Steve Twynham and how to join the growing number of listeners, visit stevetwynham.com. Be Happy, Be Inspired is produced and presented by Steve Twynham. Copyright applies.